What is the purpose of flossing? Why do you floss? How you answer this question determines how you floss, if you floss. Let's get to it. If you answered my question by saying, because I was told to, I don't really know why, don't get strung up about it. I'll make sure you're in the loop. So to start off, I've seen quite a variety of flossing techniques in my relatively short career as a dental hygienist. See if you use any of these. These are just a few of the techniques that I've seen. If you've answered my earlier question by saying that flossing is for removing food from between your teeth, you wouldn't be wrong. That is actually one of the reasons for flossing. And using the techniques that I've shown you earlier would actually fulfill that goal. But that isn't the complete story. So whenever I scale or clean people's teeth, I determine how healthy their gums are by the amount of bleeding that I see during scaling. And no, don't give me that BS that I'm the one who's causing your gums to bleed. I have thoroughly scaled some people's teeth, and there are people whose gums don't bleed at all. So yes, it is possible to have a cleaning without the bleeding. So then why do you bleed during cleanings if you bleed? It all begins with these tiny creatures in your mouth called bacteria. These thrive on all surfaces in the mouth, including your teeth, gums, and tongue. It sticks to the tooth surfaces, including the surfaces under the gums, and it proliferates and grows, forming a sticky film, which we call plaque. If the bacteria stays under the gums for at least around 2 days, lots of things can happen, but suffice it to say that your body will launch an immune response against these bacteria through your gums. Blood vessels in your gums start to dilate or open up in order to allow these immune cells to get to the sites of infection where the bacteria are. But because of this, your gums will start to swell up with a lot of red blood cells, white blood cells, chemokines, everything. So it essentially becomes a war zone. So then you, my friend, have got gum infection or gingivitis, which is the inflammation of the gums. Your gums would likely look reddish, puffy, and at the slightest touch, your gums will bleed. It may or may not hurt when you touch it, but that depends on your own pain tolerance. Gingivitis can progress into more severe forms of periodontitis, which involve loss of supporting bone and eventual tooth loss. This is why we brush our teeth every day, not just to brush away the food on the teeth, but to brush away plaque bacteria. Brushing, however, is not enough to maintain good oral health for most people, since the bristles of the brush cannot clean the surfaces between the teeth. Now, if the brush can't get between the teeth, plaque can thrive in those hard-to-reach areas and cause periodontal disease there. That brings me back to my opening question. Why do you floss your teeth? If you had said that flossing removes sticky plaque bacteria and food from the interproximal surfaces of the teeth to promote healthy oral hygiene, well, that is correct. Now, you might be wondering if the earlier techniques I showed you are effective in maintaining oral health. Well, let me tell you, I have found that people who use the earlier techniques tend to still have bleeding gums during their scaling appointments, which tells me that although it does a fairly effective job at removing food particles between the teeth, it is not effective at preventing gingivitis or periodontal disease, simply because the techniques do not effectively remove plaque from the interproximal surfaces of the teeth. So then, what is considered an effective flossing technique? It would look like this. Essentially, you go in and you hug the tooth on one side, like so, and then you just scrape the sides of the teeth, going under the gums if you can. And then come up here to avoid the gums, and then go to the other side while still being under the contact point, and then you go up and down, scraping the sides of the teeth. So at this point, you're actually essentially cleaning the sides of the teeth, like so. Voila. I think this video is long enough, so I'll end it here. I'll make a separate video, hopefully, which would outline the step-by-step process of this flossing techniques that I just showed you. I might also explain why the earlier techniques aren't as effective. We'll see, depending on my schedule and motivation. But either way, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that inspires you to floss and do it effectively. Until next time, keep on toothing.